Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're looking at buying new construction, you've probably heard or seen the term used that, especially by a realtor, that says, don't go to the model home yourself. Sales rep works for the builder, real estate agent works for you. And that is really true. The real estate agents have your best interests at heart. But today I wanted to kind of step away from the cliche a little bit and explain a little bit about how the builder system works and why that sales rep is actually really valuable as part of the team, and basically why your first visit to the model home is more important than most buyers realize. So I want to talk real quick about, the model home sales reps. These people are invaluable. Honestly, if the real estate agent has a good connection with the sales agent, the team's unstoppable. And the reason that I say that is because they bring a specific skill set to your home search that honestly a real estate agent like me, we don't have. And what I'm talking about are things like, they're going to know the community inside and out. They're going to know what lots they have available. They're going to know which floor plans will fit on which lots. They're going to know what is coming soon, and they're going to know the overall timeline of that community, which, like I said, that's invaluable. They are really your best resource for information about that community. There's guaranteed, hands down. But in the industry, real estate industry as a whole, there's a term that you really need to understand before you step through the front door of a model home. And most builders operate on a strict registration policy tied to a concept called procuring cause. So, what is procuring cause? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, procuring cause is a real estate principle that determines which agent initiated and maintained the unbroken chain of events leading to the sale of a property. So, in a resale transaction, this can get a little convoluted sometimes, not always, but it's a little more difficult to explain. But when you're talking about new construction, and why that first visit matters is because a sales agent that works for the builder uses their registration system partially, number one, to get your information. That's absolutely true, first and foremost. But number two, they use it for procuring cause. And where that can get a little complicated is, let's just say, you're visiting a model home or you're online, you're browsing and you enter your information. They're going to ask for your name, your telephone number, and email. They'll ask, though, for example, who is your real estate agent or if you have an agent. And here it's important to identify, if you do that you do. So you want to fill in that information. But here's where buyers get caught off guard. Even if you walk through that model home, you fill out the registration card and you put your realtor's name in there, but they are not with you, that does not mean that your agent will be the procuring cause for that transaction. What it means is that you've now registered in the builder system, and that sales agent is the procuring cause for that contract. And the reason that matters is because, and the reason us realtors say all the time, you really need to take an agent with you, is because, like I said, the sales reps understand the sale of the community. They know everything about it. Plus, they know the builder's products. There's really is nobody better to help a consumer in that community than the sales rep. However, our real estate agent, like myself, we're going to know what your goals are, what you're comfortable with. We're going to know your financial situation. We're going to help, with inspections. We're going to be there from the start of the process to the end. A good real estate agent will be there and be very present, just like a resale sale. They're not going to, a good agent will not just, show up for procuring cause and then show up again when it's closing time. There's really a lot that an agent should be doing in between. But that being said, the sales rep's not going to know what's best for you and is not going to necessarily put your best interests first because they work for the builder. And that's where procuring cause is really important. If you register yourself and you don't put your real estate agent on there, or even if you do and you come back a week later and say, hey, this is my agent, there's a lot of builders that honestly will not recognize your agent into the transaction because they were not with you at the first point of contact and they were not the procuring cause for the home sale. So don't get caught off guard. Working with the sales reps, like I said, it's an invaluable thing. I mean, they know things that even if I studied night and day, I mean, they're the experts on the community. But take an agent, they're the experts for you. And it's not just about procuring cause, isn't just about, who initiated the transaction and who pays who, but it really is about having your best interests at heart. And for example, there's a couple of situations that, like I said, even if you take your agent back a week later, that builder may or may not invite them into the transaction. And one of the most second important things is even though we're in a buyer's market now, most of the home builders are still paying a good chunk, if not all, of the buyer's representations or the buyer's realtor's commission fees. So it's really important, especially if you think that you're going to be working with a realtor, to have that communication up front, because that procuring cause also boils down to how they get paid. So it's really important to understand. But I hope this helps you a little bit as a consumer, knowing that when you go to these communities, take your realtor with you. They really are there for, when we say in your best interest, they know the human side, or excuse me, the consumer side of the transaction. They're there to help you through everything, every step of the way on the things that you're going to face as a buyer. The sales rep is always going to represent the builder. And by that, I mean, they're the community experts. They know the builder's contracts, they know the builder's timelines, they know, the builder's inspections, they know all that stuff. So if you don't take a real estate agent with you, you're kind of flying blind if you really think about it. So I hope this conversation helped a few of you and helped you understand a little bit about what procuring cause is and why it's important when you go to that first model home to take your real estate agent with you. And I'm Charlene Nelson. I work for Real Broker LLC here in the Fort Worth area. Me and my friend and colleague Conrad Almans, he's also with Real Broker LLC. We specialize in new homes and new construction. We also do resale, but new homes are our specialty. But if you have questions, please feel free to drop them below. And look for our new upcoming video series. We're going to be starting shortly on basically the nuts and bolts about buying new construction. We'll cover everything from, getting your loan, comparing incentives, the inspections, basically the nuts and bolts of the whole process. So I hope you'll tune in for that. And if you found this at all valuable, please give me a thumbs up and likes, and please subscribe to our channel for more videos coming soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.